Today we are going to see some of the facts in environmental sciences. If I put it in the question, it would be much more easier for you to understand. So that's the reason I just put them into different questions, so where we could answer as well as we can also find some logical pattern behind it. Which is the oldest forest ecosystem in Australian continent? It is the forest. It's a coastal forest. You could find here, and which is one of the very complex forest ecosystem. You can't actually type them like evergreen, deciduous. You can't classify under certain criteria, forest criteria. So that's why it is called very complex and also the oldest forest ecosystem which is exist in Australia, which is called the Daintree Forest National Park of Queensland, Australia. Name of the retired, which is flightless bird, which is present in Australia. We know that cassowary of Australia. It is one of the retired bird, belongs to retired bird, flightless bird. We know the ostrich from Africa. We know emu from South America. So we know there are several other flightless birds from Indian subcontinent, Indian fowl, all other related members. Likewise, the kiwi from New Zealand extended to southern, southern east part of the world. So the cassowary, which is actually belongs to this particular national park, what we have discussed in the previous question, the Daintree Forest National Park. The Daintree Forest ecosystem is distributed in northeast coast of Australia. Very old complex forest system, which is dated back to 110 million years, which is an incredible diverse range of frogs and insects. So we know the amphibian diversity from Africa, Madagascar, India, as well as from Australia, that indicates the vicariance model in biogeography. What does it mean? The continental drift has been split the plates of Gondwana into different pieces. That's how these plates, the split plates, carried the biotic forms from Africa to the different continents, the present day continents. So the presence of these frogs and insects from this particular national park, which is the Daintree Forest National Park, indicates that probably this particular Australian plate split from African Pangean supercontinent. That's how they been concluded that the biogeography indicates, especially the insect flora, insect species diversity as well as the amphibian diversity. We know this bird cassowary from Australia. Where do you find the crooked forest of the world? Crooked forest, why? Because the wood structure, it's crooked in this manner. It's highly fascinating woodlands, which is not a natural woodland system, which is artificial, which is man-made forest. It's situated in Poland. How this kind of man-made forest system has been formed? This has got, I think, about 90 years old forest system. There are two assumptions. Exactly, it's from Nova Zernova of West Pomerania province of Poland. This species belongs to the conifers. There are two different assumptions that tells that probably this crooked forest been made for shipbuilding materials, the wood materials, to derive such wood materials for shipbuilding. And the second one is when they were there as a seedlings, as a plantlets, probably during the Second World War, tankers or any other vehicle during that period probably would have smashed those seedlings, and it's been shaped in that from the seedlings probably they have grown up as a huge trees. So since it was damaged during the seedling stage, so they have been shaped in that manner. But we don't have any such evidences to prove even those two assumptions. One of the interesting forest type. Which country possesses the highest percentage of virgin forest? What does it mean? Virgin means there is no human interventions, much, and also it's unexplored, unexploited region. The answer is Costa Rica, which is present in Costa Rica. It is also called as this particular ecosystem is called as cloud forest of the world. I would say the cloud forest of the South American continent, which possesses the highest diversity, plant diversity. This area, the cloud forest, where it's situated in Costa Rica, it is called Monteverde National Park, where you will find this cloud forest, which is about 26,000 acre forest reserve, and it possesses 90% of virgin forest, which means only the 10% of the forest is explored. I would say the human enter into this area. The rest of the 90% is untouched. And also, this rainforest possesses the highest diversity of orchids, along with there are several animalia also present. These are all the orchids, the beautiful orchids have been grown this from this particular region. Which is the oldest forest region of the world? Oldest forest region of the world, which is the Redwood National Park of California, belongs to United States of America. It's considered to be the oldest forest region of the world because of possessing the huge trees, the tallest, I would say the largest tree of the world, which is Sequoia giganteum. It's the world's most massive tree and dated back to 2700 years, and also is one of the largest living organism on earth because it is dated back to 1800 to 2700 years. Where will you find them? You will find them at the western slopes of Sierra Nevada mountainous range of California, the province California, where the Sierra Nevada mountainous range. Probably when you are discussing about the geographical part, the Sierra Nevada regions or the regions considered to be the Columbia supercontinent mass. The Columbia supercontinent is much more earlier to the Pangea supercontinent. The Sierra Nevada region where actually the Columbia supercontinent center port what was exist. And also this have provides the very good shade for about 1865 square miles. The huge trees, the coniferous trees, were densely arranged. Why it's called a redwood? Because the bark texture that shows the reddy or dusty brown color. That's why it is the sequoia plants shows in that manner. So it's called the redwood forest region. So it provides the 1865 square miles of shade. What is called the 100 soundscapes of Japan? Why it is called soundscapes? Because it provides the different sound. It's kind of musical sound. So flute. It's made up of the bamboo stick. There are several instruments. The music instruments are made up of the bamboos. So the naturally occurring bamboo culms, when the wind go through this forest region, it makes different sounds. That's why this particular region is called The 100 soundscapes of Japan. Where it is situated, it's very close to Kyoto, the capital of Japan. It's called Saginaw Bamboo Forest. Saginaw Bamboo Forest. The next one is, which is the habitat for an endangered species? Sichuan golden monkey, probably in a National Geography channel, would have seen all this documentary related to this monkey, which is also called snub-moused monkey, snub-moused, flat-moused monkey, snub-nosed monkey. It's a snub-nosed monkey. It's the endangered species, a critically endangered species. It is situated very close to Tibetan Plateau. Next means the other part of, not to the Indian, but the other part of the Tibetan Plateau. The place is called Zizhaogao Valley of Sichuan, belongs to China. This is a beautiful valley which actually truncates the Chinese part. It opens up the very good value and river system, gives a very good diversity. These are the monkeys are restricted to this particular region. When was the flowering plants originates? What we see today, there are several flowering plants or belongs to the group called angiosperms because they produce true seeds. It is not gymnosperms. We are talking about the sequoiadendron, gigantium belongs to gymnosperms. So these plants or belongs to the angiosperms group, provides a very beautiful flowers. That flowers attracts the flower visitors like bees, butterflies. So when this group of plants originated, it's very recent. It is early Cretaceous in geological time. So when you look at the geological time, you could clearly see 4.5 billion years ago the Earth formed, then Archeans, likewise the Cambrian period, Mississippian period, and Pennsylvanian period, where we talk about the Carboniferous period, then the Permian, Triassic period, Jurassic period, where you will find the pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and the Cretaceous, where we were talking about. The Cretaceous, it will be split into three, which is early Cretaceous, mid Cretaceous, and late Cretaceous. So late Cretaceous, where the big extinction, the meteorite hit dinosaurs, the related species got extinct. The one species you can see, the bird, the phoenix bird, Archaeopteryx, flew from this particular period and nested somewhere far from this African continent. That's how the in geological times the evolution of these birds been talked about. This is why it's called as a KT boundary, where the large and mass extinctions was occurred. So during that period, the late Cretaceous period, where the angiosperms were originated, then it's flourished and conquered the entire Earth, which possesses now the highest diversity. So related to that, which region of the world is called the center of plant radiation? Which region? So we know the Pangaea split into Laurasia and Gondwana. So when you talk about these two hemispheres, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere of the Earth, which region possesses the highest plant diversity as well as the radiation where occurred? The Gondwana land. So the Gondwana land, why? Because it possesses the radiation of gymnosperms, pteridophytes, angiosperms, then mammalian texts, all from actually radiated from this region. That's why the Gondwana land was the one actually. It holds itself the age for several group of organisms for the radiation as well as diversification. Which forest holds the highest forest coverage of deciduous trees in the world? We know India possesses the highest deciduous forest patches compared to any other forest types, compared to the evergreen, compared to we have tropical, wet evergreen, dry evergreen. The deciduous forests are the largest forest type in India. But in the world, the Africa, it uh, it it includes 7 different countries: Angola, Democratic Republic of Congo, Malawi, Mozambique, Tanzania, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. What is that forest type? That forest type, it's named because of this only tree. This tree is called Miombo. The Miombo, this tree in African language, it is called Miombo. So its richness is higher in this particular region. It includes 7 countries in the entire Central Africa. Entire Central Africa, this particular forest types exist, very deciduous forest type. That's why this region is called Miombo woodlands. So which covers nearly 900,000 square miles in Central Africa. Which forest system is called the second lung of the world? We know which one is the lung of the world. No, I would say the first lung of the world is Amazonian forest. Amazon, where it's there in South America. But the second lung of the world is, I would say, Congo Basin forest. Again, once again, the Congo Basin forest, it's not only belongs to Congo, the Republic of Congo, which includes Angola, Burundi, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo, Republic of the Congo, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania. So, which spread over this Congo Basin forest wherever the river Congo flows from the western part to go and takes and dissect the equatorial region twice and comes down, where in all this Congo river it flows, where it forms the basin. The basin favors the forest type, which is one of the oldest forest types which which sheltered the humankind. That's supposed to be. It is. It's been predicted that it's a 50,000 years old forest system which has got the record to hold the humankind, where the people still till today there are the tribal settlements. They are depending on this forest. Most of them are the hunters, the forest hunters. So which spread over 1.4 million square miles, and which that's why it is called the second lung of the world, because it holds the around 8% of the world forest based carbon sequestration. Because that's why it's called lung, because it sequestered the carbon which is existed in the atmosphere, where the same function has been done by Amazon. So the Congo forest from Africa, around 8% of the world forest which holds the carbon sequestration. Which is the highest mountainous peak in Southeast Asia? We know in South Asia, we know in Asia, Mount Everest, Himalaya. Apart from Himalaya, when you go furthermore southeastern part of the country, the Borneo, which have the peak of about 13,435 feet mountainous range. That mountain is called Mount Kinabalu. Mount Kinabalu, which is about 13,435 feet peak. There is no other mountainous peak between Himalaya until it reaches the New Guinea, Papua New Guinea, Borneo. So in between, there are the several countries: Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, Laos. None other countries got the highest mountainous peaks, but the further southeastern country, which is Borneo, holds the mountainous peak, which is Mount Kinabalu, has got the highest peak. Which is the world's biggest mangrove forest or mangrove forest system been found? World's biggest mangrove. We know the mangrove ecosystem is spread throughout the world. You will find it in North America, South America, Africa, Southeast Asia, and Pacific Islands, wherever world, all the coast been guarded by the mangrove forest system. But where you will find the world's biggest mangrove system, which is Sundarbans. Sundarbans also has been announced as a UNESCO site in 1980, 85 around. But later, 1990s, it's been also announced as the UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, which covers 38,000 square miles of the marine swampy region, That's why it also been distributed to two different countries, India, northern India, as well as the entire southern Bangladesh. It's entirely the Sundarbans is spread over. It also possesses the very unique fauna, which is Bengal tiger and the Gangetic river dolphins, where the Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Padma river of Bangladesh, where the confluence and the drain into Bay of Bengal, where they carries and also sustains the natural distribution of the Gangetic river dolphins. And also you'll find the king cobras and Indian pythons and also the marshy crocodiles. So unique species of marshy crocodiles you'll find in Sundarbans. Where will you find the honey bears in the world? The honey bears is otherwise called as sun bears. Where will you find them? You will find them and also restricted in Malayan Peninsula, especially in Sumatra and Java. The Sumatra possesses the highest diversity, species richness of the sun bears. It and also there's one of the critical endangered species. Which is the third largest forest in the world. I didn't mention the Amazonian forest. Mostly we are discussing about the forest here. The first is the Amazonian forest, which is the diversity as well as the spread coverage is the Amazonian forest. So we have discussed about the Congo River Basin, which is the second largest forest, as well as this also called the second lung of the world. The third largest forest in the world you'll find in New Guinea, Papua New Guinea, which also the New Guinea in evolution. It's been considered as one of the best example, like how the Darwinian hypothesis talks about the island gigantism. Then Wallace, as another evolutionary biologist, also talk about the island gigantism. So this particular island, the presence of the flora and fauna indicates that Papua New Guinea also is considered to be the best example for island gigantism, where you'll find the world's tiniest parrot you can keep within your palms, and also the largest pigeon in the world, where you will find it in Papua New Guinea. That's why this particular highland country indicates the island gigantism. That's all for today's class.